Hello there, my name's Dave Allen, I'm good and geeky. I saw someone asking about how you'd used Affinity Designer to cut up some rectangles and to put pictures into each of these shapes. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do now. There's a couple of different ways to do it. Some ways are better than others. So let's get started and show you how I put all of this together. Okay, we'll start off with a clean canvas. I'm going to put some rectangles in first of all. So let's get these rectangles in there. And we'll start off here. The outline is far too big. We don't need that at the moment. So let's get into the stroke and change that to something a bit smaller. Okay, so let's see about how we would cut this apart. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select it. And then I'm going to go to the knife tool. So if I start here, hold down the shift and the option key and start from that, go over there, you still got a straight line because I'm going to hold down the shift and the option key at the same time. So that's cut that apart, and now we should have two shapes, and I can get that shape and I can move it up and put it there. What I could do is I could go to the transform menu and decide how much I'm going to move it up. So let's do Command Z on that there, and then on the moving upwards, let's say we want to move it up by, it's at 265 on here now, so change that from 265 to 255. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the knife tool. And this time we got all the way to the top there, and we've got that split in half, so that's cool. And I can take that and move it out. If I want to do it so that I get the same gap in between here and have the same gap here, then what I should do is should use a transform tool to do that. But this is the problem when you're using diagonals in here. So I'm moving this out here and moving to get the gap in between this bit here. But what it's done, it's messed up this part here, which on a simple design like this wouldn't be too difficult to deal with. And if you actually look carefully with this one here, you'll see that this here doesn't line up properly either. So what we need to do is we'd need to get this one here and bring it down some. We could just do it by eye by just pressing the arrow key down a few times to get it to where we want it to be. So that's about right. And then we could go over to this bit over here. And then we could get this, and what with this I'm going to do is I'm going to get the node editing tool, and with this one, select that one at the top first, hold down the shift key, move it out, and it will snap to this one here. And then this one here, I've got to bring that out, and you see as I move it out, it's sort of, you can't move it just exactly perpendicular because that would make the this go wrong. So what I have to do is put that there and get what I think it's going to be about right. If you had to be exact, what you can do is you can use this measuring tool here, and I can measure from here to there, and I can see that's 13px, and obviously I'll be able to do this here as well. So if I want to measure from here to here, obviously that's more than it should be, but we're not worried about that for the moment. This is just one of the ways of doing it, and it's not the best way of doing it. The better way to do this is to actually use the pen tool. So I get the pen tool here, and let's make these same sort of shapes as we had before. So I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to put this shape over there. Press the escape key because I finished with that one. Then I'm going to go to the bottom, and then I'm going to go up here and press the escape key again because I don't want to continue with that line. And then we can even have another line in there as well. So let's say we're going to start over here, and then we're going to bring that down to here and press escape again. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of those three lines. So let's get those three lines selected, and then I'm going to give it a stroke. And at the moment the stroke is 3 points, but let's put in there a stroke of, the gap that we had before was 13, but let's put in a stroke of say 20. Go to layer, and then we go to expand stroke. Okay, so that's the strokes expanded, and now we've got a couple of possibilities with this here. We could use the shape building tool, or we could use these tools over here to do the job. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to deselect that for the moment. Then I'm going to do Command A to select all of it. I'm going to do Command J to make a copy of it, and then I'm going to put this one over here to this side and show you the both ways of doing it, and you can decide for yourself which one you think is the best way to do it. It depends upon the difficulty and the intricacy of the design, but let's just see what we've got here. So let's do this first one. So what I want to do first of all is I'm going to get this here and bring it down so that it comes inside that line going across there. That one there's okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to join all of these together into one object, and I'm going to do that with this tool over here. So I'm going to add them, and now all we need to do is to select this rectangle underneath and do subtract. Perfect. Every sort of gap in between here and between here, all of these gaps are exactly right, exactly the same gap in between each of them. No problems. That's one way of doing it. Now another way to go about doing this would be to use the shape building tool. The way I'm going to do this now is to select all of these bits here. Make sure everything's selected and using the shape builder tool. So I've got that selected. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start selecting this and putting them together. Well, there's two ways of going about this actually. One would be to delete the bits that we don't want. So with the shape tool selected, let's decide we're going to go for subtract. And I'm going to get rid of the bits that we don't want. So we're going to click on that there. We don't want it. We don't want that. We don't want that or that. And that can go. That can go. That can go. That can go. And the bit down the bottom can go as well. And we don't need that bit either. So when we finished that there with the shape builder tool out of the way, we've just got this one bit here to clear up. Delete that, and we've got the same effect as we had over here as we had over here. How about that then? So that's one way of using the shape builder tool, where we just get rid of the bits that we don't want. Another way to do this with the shape builder tool is to, let's grab them all again, select all of these ones here. So once we've got those selected, we go back to our shape builder tool again. And this time we're going to use this here. And I want this to be a shape, including that wee bit there that's sticking up. That's one shape. This is another shape. This is a shape, and that's a shape. So I've got all those shapes in there now. You can't see them yet, but when I get rid of these bits underneath here, like so, delete those. Well, hang on a minute. We've got the shapes there, but we've still got the rectangle underneath, haven't we? So what we have to do then is to select the rectangle that's underneath this here. And the easiest way to grab that is by going to the layers and find the rectangle shape, which is this one here, and delete that. And once again, we've got our shape there all cut up the way we need it to be cut up. Okay, so you can use a combination of these tools. So you could use this either way, the shape builder tool, or the where I used the stroke to use as a cutout. Either way will work. And also what we can do is we can perhaps go back into the knife tool here. So let's just select that first of all, then get the knife tool, and we've got the stabilizer on there, and we've got with the rope mode. So with the rope mode, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this here. You see we've got the rope sort of sitting there. Now if I stop there, it's not going to work because I haven't gone all the way through yet. There is a gap there between the end of the rope, the end of the line, and where the knife tool is. So that is going to cut only into part of it. So that's no good. What you have to do when you use the rope tool is to make sure you pull the line all the way through. Let's do Command Z on that there, and we'll try again. So starting over here, and then use the rope tool, and this time it's gone all the way through. Look, I've got a lovely curve on that there because I'm using the curve, the rope sort of thing, to stabilise it out. Let's do Command and 0 again to get it full screen again. Now then, we've got that done there. Let's see about pulling some stuff into these shapes. It's all one rectangle for some reason or other. It's not been separated out, so let's select that there. So that's one rectangle. They've merged into one bit there, so I need to go to layer and go to let's see, geometry and separate curves. Okay, so now that's a shape, and we've got the 4 different shapes in there on that one there. This one here I did a different way, and it's all split up anyway, so that's something that you'd have to watch out for, and just make sure that you've got your shapes split up if they need to be split up. And now I've got those split up, what I'll do is I'm going to actually put these two back together again. To put those back together again, just those two shapes there, I'm going to click on this one here, and now that is one shape in two separate parts. So now what I can do is, like, I've got that selected, and I'm going to go to layer and check the insertion and check inside. So let's get something to put in there now. So I'm going to go to file and then go to place. This one here, we'll choose that. I'm going to just click on that there, and it's gone into that, just that one. Okay, so I've got the little symbol popped up there now, which means I can place it into here. And it should go into these two bits here because I did have them selected. It's gone in over the top of everything. It's supposed to have gone into those two bits there. All I've got to do is grab that and put it on top of there, and it's in place. Check this here. In the layers, insertion is changed back to default. I want to check that to inside. Then I'll go to File, Place, click on Open, and then I'm going to put that, it goes in there. And as you can see this time, what's happened is that it's already within that shape, and we've got some vector clipping going on. So that's how you get the pictures inside those shapes there. You can either drag them in the layers menu and put them into where you need them in there, or you can do it the way I just showed you by having the insert set to inside and then just drag it and drop it in there, and it goes to how you want it to go. Perfect. This is Dave Allen. I'm Good and Geeky, and that is how you can slice up a rectangle and drop pictures into it.